Bon dia, and welcome to Move to Portugal Daily, Episode 72, 2026-0508. I'm Mateus Costa with the Portuguese Pride Network. In the next 10 minutes, I'll give you exactly what you need on rent-to-buy residency, using a lease option to lock property, cash flow, and a visa path. Let's run the numbers.
Picture this. You hand over a small option fee, maybe $5,000. You sign a lease option, and that same paper locks a 2-bedroom in central Lisbon at a set price 6 months from now while you finalize a D7 application and line up a mortgage. You keep living there, you pay rent that partially counts toward the sale, and when you're ready, you exercise the option and buy. That image, low upfront risk, a protected price, and time to sort visas and tax is exactly what we'll unpack. By the end of this episode, you'll have 3 concrete euro figures to use in negotiations, 1 short script you can say to a landlord today, and a 3-step checklist to turn a rent-to-buy into a residency-friendly plan.
First, mechanics and money. How does a lease option actually work, and what numbers should you expect? Option fees in Portugal commonly range from €3,000 to €20,000, depending on property value and demand. Think small flats on the outskirts or older buildings under refurbishment at the low end and high-demand central apartments at the high end. Monthly rents tied to rent-to-buy also vary by city. Lisbon, typically €1,200 to €2,500, Porto, €800 to €1,600, and the Algarve, €700 to €2,200. Purchase prices you're locking in should be realistic. Outside suburbs from about €150,000. Decent central Porto or Algarve properties, €250,000 to €400,000. Central Lisbon can be €450,000 up to €650,000 or more. The typical contract does 2 things. It records an option fee, which is normally credited against the final purchase price, and it specifies whether part of each monthly rent is credited toward the purchase, commonly 10 to 30% of the rent as a purchase credit. Example, a Lisbon apartment with a €20,000 option fee, €2,000 rent with 20% credit means you pay €20,000 up front and €400 per month builds equity toward the eventual down payment while you live there. If you exercise the option, that €20,000 becomes part of your deposit. If you walk away without cause, the seller may keep the fee. Always put the credit mechanics in writing, how the fee is applied, whether rent credits accumulate, and what happens to them if the purchase falls through.
Second, visa and tax fit. How does rent-to-buy support a D7 or digital nomad pathway, and where does tax planning come in? For D7 applicants, demonstrating legitimate residence in Portugal is key. A lease option with a Portuguese address helps prove habitual residence, and the timing to register at the local conservatoria or Câmara matters. Use your lease option contract plus utility registrations or a registration certificate, Certificado de Registro, as part of your residency file. Income proof is separate. D7 requires passive income or stable remote income, but rent-to-buy can keep your housing costs predictable while you show bank statements and proof of funds. For mortgage timing, banks generally will lend on the purchase when the option is exercised and ownership transfers, so expect to apply for the mortgage inside the option term or immediately after exercising it. From a tax angle, you must coordinate with a fiscal advisor because converting from renter to owner has transactional taxes, IMT, property transfer tax, stamp duty, and ongoing IMI. Practical thresholds where planning matters. At purchase prices around $250K, you'll typically need a solid 10 to 20% deposit. Around $500K, banks get stricter on loan-to-value and affordability. Above $750K, you should expect different tax and reporting obligations and larger IMT exposure. If you're targeting NHR, note that timing matters. NHR starts in the year you become tax resident. If you exercise a purchase and become resident in that year, model the tax consequences before you close. NHR can offer advantages for certain foreign income, but you must register and plan. Bottom line, rent-to-buy buys you time to sort visas and mortgages, but don't treat option fees as a tax solution. Coordinate with a Portuguese lawyer and tax advisor before exercising the option. Third, where and how to find deals and how to negotiate them. City-specific playbook. In Lisbon, watch neighborhoods like Arroios, Anjos, and parts of Benfica for value if you want proximity without central Lisbon premiums. In Porto, look at Bonfim, Campanhã, and Vila Nova de Gaia for good rent-to-buy candidates. In the Algarve, focus on Lagos, Tavira, and smaller pockets around Faro where seasonal pressure meets year-round rentals. 3 negotiation moves that protect you. 1. Fix the purchase price or tie it to a clear formula. For example, set the price at 350,000 euros or index it to a public price index with a fixed cap. 2. Cap escalation. Include a clause limiting annual price increases or market adjustments to a maximum percentage, say 3% per year, so you won't be surprised if the market jumps. 3. Add inspection and exit clauses. Require a professional inspection within a set window and the right to terminate and recover a portion of your option fee if major defects appear. Example scripts to the landlord. I can put down a 7,500 euro option fee and commit to a 12-month option at 225,000 euros with 200 euros of my 1,200 euro rent credited monthly, subject to a satisfactory inspection and cap on any price increases. That sentence gives numbers, shows seriousness, and names the protections you need. Always insist the option be registered with your lawyer and recorded with a notary where appropriate. Now, action steps you can take this week and the common mistakes to avoid. Your 3-step checklist. 1. Secure the option fee with a written lease option signed by both parties and handled by a Portuguese lawyer. Don't hand cash without a contract. 2. Register a Portuguese address. Sign the lease option, register for local residency documents, and if possible, get a utilities bill in your name or ask the landlord to allow registration. This helps D7 evidence. 3. Open an escrow or legal account where the option fee and any rent credit bookkeeping is clearly stated. Your lawyer should hold the funds or confirm terms in writing. Top mistakes in quick fixes. Unsigned option agreements. Fix by refusing to proceed until the lawyer signs and holds funds. No notary or registration clause. Add it in before you pay. Ignoring tax residency timing. Call your fiscal advisor immediately and model the year you expect to become tax resident. These fixes are small paperwork items that avoid losing a lot of money later. Quick listener question I see a lot. Can I use rent credits or the option fee as a mortgage down payment? Short answer, sometimes, but only when it's documented and the bank accepts it. Option fees and rent credits are not automatically treated as a traditional savings deposit by Portuguese banks. To get a bank to count them toward your mortgage deposit, you need clear documentation. The option agreement must state the fee is credited to the purchase price, and the rent credit ledger must be auditable. Some lenders will accept a portion of a documented option fee as part of your capital if your lawyer can demonstrate the funds are available and were not gifts. Always ask prospective lenders early, before you sign, and get a pre-approval that states whether they accept option fees and rent credits. For a practical next step, grab the Rent to Buy checklist at the Portuguese Pride Network. It's a one-page form to evaluate option fee amounts, credit percentages, and inspection timelines. If you want a quick review, email a clear photo of the proposed contract to our team and we'll send back a short checklist note. That's your move for today. If this helped, hit subscribe on YouTube and follow on your favorite podcast app. For more information, visit nomadlifesuccess.com. This is Mateos Costa, Saúde, and I'll see you tomorrow.